I'm going to share with you on this particular broadcast information that is very shocking, and it's confidential information. And it will show you the threat of a social meltdown and chaos that is so large a domestic law enforcement arm of the United States military, referred to by the Army Times as the Consequence Management Response Force, has been created to deal with what United States officials believe to be a coming unprecedented wave of massive social chaos. And a little later on, I'll show you why many Washington insiders, including officials directly involved in Homeland Security, are personally making emergency preparations for this chaos. And in addition, outgoing Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson told Senator James Inhofe and Representative Brad Sherman that so many and so much financial mayhem lies ahead that United States troops will have to impose martial law in order to deal with social unrest. And yes, truth seekers, United States officials are quietly preparing for big trouble ahead, because a new report by the Army War College Strategic Studies Institute plainly states flatly the United States military must prepare for a violent strategic dislocation in the United States that could be provoked by unforeseen economic collapse or loss of functioning political and legal order. Because late last year, the Washington Post noted the incoming Obama administration is going to earmark at least 20,000 troops returning from Iraq to deal with domestic emergencies. But since then, the Army Times itself has broken the story that the domestic emergency Army unit has been increased to 80,000 American troops who are being trained right now in Georgia. That does not include the thousands of foreign troops that are already bivouacked in the United States. So the bottom line, truth seekers, in short, United States officials expect big trouble ahead, but they are not warning the general public about the danger, much less urge the unsuspecting masses to make basic preparations. A rare critic of the government's keep the public in the dark mentality is former head of the United States Commission on National Security. His name is Stephen Flynn, because he noted in a recent Wall Street Journal editorial, and he said too many officials believe telling the truth to the Americans about the risk would set off a nationwide panic. Thus, they keep us sheep in the dark for our own good. So boiled down, you need a real plan to deal with massive social dislocations that are headed your way. And you need to get started right now, because the government is not going to give you a heads up. And here are the reasons why Washington expects to use troops against we American citizens. So let me get straight to the point about the high probability of social chaos, what it will look like, and what you can do to not be among the millions of unsuspecting Americans who are going to be caught flat-footed. You've got to see something. You see, a government consumer debt bubble 20-plus years in the making is imploding as desperate federal meddling to stave off financial collapse is funded by frantic money printing to shower trillions of dollars over a unsuspecting public. And you think it's money. It's nothing more than monopoly money. Even mainstream financial figures are finally admitting that we are more than in a recession. For example, the CEO of General Electric recently stated and conceded that the United States may be descending into a depression. And it was only until a few short months ago Washington wasn't even using the R word. Recession, I mean. The experts are finally fessing up to what the rest of us have already seen for some time, with an estimated 148,000 to 175,000 store closures projected for just the year of 2009. And John Williams of the authoritative shadow government statistics, and he noted in his research that unfudged, unmanipulated government statistics suggest a whopping civilian unemployment rate. Well, he said only 17%. He's missing about 3 points, but that's close enough, Mr. Williams, with a projected total to exceed 30%. But just remember, during the Great Depression, unemployment approached the historic 25%, so we're going to go way past that. And in December of 2008, just a few months ago, the International Monetary Fund's managing director, whose name is Dominic Strauss-Kahn, warned of riots and unrest sweeping through Western countries as lower-income households are beset with credit constraints and rampant unemployment. And these are the kind of riots that have already caused the government of Iceland to fall and triggered riots in Greece. And not to be politically incorrect, but the simple truth is millions of Americans who have known nothing more but prosperity and easy money have a militant expectancy that society owes them something. And with so many families on the margins of survival already, the speed of the downward unemployment spiral is downright unprecedented.